If you're going to be dating women in 2026, I got three things for you. So beyond that initial hug, this is a date, y'all finally met. If y'all go throughout the rest of the date and she's not tapping you on the arm, tapping you on the chest, so funny, she's not feeling you. You about to go in the friend zone. Number two is very important for my talkative guys. Let the conversation breathe. A conversation doesn't need to be happening at all times. Here's the thing. You can open up a conversation. If they give a short reply back, let it breathe. Maybe they're thinking something to ask you back. Allow them the opportunity to add to the conversation. The most important one for my guys is if she is moving away from you, it still feels like you're having to chase her. Let her run. Let her run. Nothing that you are supposed to have is moving in the opposite direction of you. So if y'all aren't moving towards each other, if it doesn't feel that way, let it go.
We have the one and only Mr. Cougar Jackson himself. How are you doing this evening?
Wow, it's a really good day. It's an even better evening. I'm glad to be on the show with you.
Yes, thank you. Well, I appreciate you having the time just for me to have this discussion with you because I've watched some of your videos and I feel like you would be the best person to really just dig into this conversation. And the conversation is really just about men and dating and why does it feel like men just aren't really into it at this point in time? They're not really engaged with dating. I think at this point, it kind of feels like they would prefer to be single. Is that the vibe or are we just looking at two different things here?
It's definitely that's a part of the vibe. It's a lot of guys who feel they are priced out of the market, if you will. That the entry price is too high. And I respect that. If someone doesn't have their stuff together, I would always encourage them to get their stuff together first. That makes you a better option. That makes you, if you're actually looking for something serious, or some of these guys are looking for something serious. But regardless, the result is the same. If they don't have their stuff together, then why they keep trying to participate in something that's simply not working for them?
And that makes sense because I think that's the same way it is for women. If you're the only one that's pouring into getting to know someone or the effort, and it's not a two-way type of thing, then why continue to pour into it? So, would you say men are tired of the chase or the hoops that they have to jump through in order to get to know a woman?
Yeah, thanks to the social media era, a lot of guys are not chasing. There's people like myself, there's others who are simply putting it out there. You don't have to chase something that wants you back. And that's the best part about it. I think a lot of us, even myself, I spend a lot of time chasing people, things that simply did not want me back. And while ignoring someone or running right past the person, you know,
Yeah.
who didn't.
Paint the picture for women who might not get it. What does tired look like from a male's perspective? Is that less texting, less communicating, less
Exactly that, which a lot of guys may not be so communicative anyway, but it's certainly disengaged in whatever form that may have been more present before. It certainly disengaged and less of what was already there.
when a man decides to check out, what does it look like before he actually gets to that point? Are there some signs that we can tell?
Early signs could probably be certainly less reaching out, no longer even trying to put plans together. If he's an intentional guy, right? If he doesn't really have any direction about himself, uh, to be honest, he may continue because that's kind of hand in hand. I think anyone who is intentional, they know like how to get results, what's supposed to work. At least they're supposed to. And the relationships between men and women can kind of be foggy.
That makes sense. So, one thing that I would like to believe, and it's from conversations that I've had with different men, is that when it comes to his career and where he is in life with that career, if he's not happy with what he has going on in his life, then regardless of what the woman may look like, he's not gonna put his all into even dating or getting into a relationship until he gets to that point of satisfaction. Is that true?
That's majority true. It's a lot of, there's plenty of guys who they would try, it's like guys who would try and it would look like a real effort in a relationship, but that relationship's ceiling would be lower than what it would actually be if he was where he wanted to be. So he's completely realized and he feels like I can take care of these things, whatever matters to him, these things on my own. And she doesn't have to worry about or think about these things. Especially if he knows her roadmap and the things she cares about, uh,
Mhm.
If he doesn't have those things yet, he's probably gonna be pumping the brakes when she's, kind of wondering why.
Are men intimidated, or do they feel some type of way when the woman has more accolades? She's achieved more in her life, and let's say he's just now getting that dream job. Are men really intimidated by stuff like that?
There's probably at least two sides of that coin. And one, yes, I believe there is sometimes some intimidation in just the fact that she can do more, pour more than I can. It's a capacity thing. Her
Mhm.
gifts that she gets me or what she could do, I can't pour in that same capacity. And any guy who really loves his woman or is a provider type of guy, let's do that.
Right.
He's thinking about his capacity to give back, to pour into, and that doesn't feel good. On the other side of that coin, there's sometimes a demeanor, and it's almost successful people in jail. Men and women kind of can suffer from. I'm successful. I built this thing on my own. No one can tell me what to do with what I da 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 stuff like that.
Mhm.
Neither one of those, and well, that one right there definitely spoils uh, kind of men's enjoyment of the relationship, even if they could be okay with her being a high earning individual.
That makes a lot of sense. Ladies, makes you think, I've heard it about marriage where guys feel so anti marriage because there's so much that they can lose, right? What benefit is there for the man versus the benefits there are present for the women?
No, less there. I mean, obviously, the relationship has less potential loss for men, just
Mhm.
in general. So, no, I think relationships get dating and courting get stuck before the relationship turn because of misalignments, whether that be financial, like we were talking about, or possibly even just on maybe some like behavioral things, in-house things. Hey, we're not really in sync, and this doesn't me personally, I'll talk about me just for a second.
Right.
There's been plenty of great women that I've met and would have been in a relationship, but there were things that just held me up. I'm like, this isn't getting fixed. We've been here for
Mhm.
6 months, however long, and that's still there. So
Mhm.
for as long as that's still present, I can't feel comfortable going on this journey with you.
How do you have that conversation though if there are things in a relationship that need to be fixed?
Try to do it openly, try to do it transparently and without a whole bunch, finger pointing. But kind of the part that sucks is sometimes you meet people who apologize quickly, and that's great.
Mhm.
So now you don't even have that issue. So it's kind of a self-serving on both sides. If you find someone who's apologizing quickly and they change behaviors, great. You're probably moving forward. If you find someone that you bring something up to and they're not apologizing, they're thinking you're judging them,
Mhm.
now you have to apologize to them. Well, damn. Now, this whole conversation and me being transparent about what would move us forward for me. And
Mhm.
now it's kind of going to crap because now I'm the one apologizing.
Right. Yeah. How do we get here? Right. So you have those relationships that we hear about all the time where they've been engaged for years. And then you also hear the ones where the guy proposes after only knowing the woman 1 month. What truly happens?
I'm gonna take the short version here. The short version is basically he's got a list. And he's been figuring out the things. If you remember back in maybe the late 2000s and the 2010s, it was
Mhm.
like, ladies get your list. And, what I'm saying? There was all these things that they wanted in
Mhm.
a person. That was definitely a thing. And some of those things never really changed priority. You know what I'm saying? A lot of guys may have put looks way up here on the list and it had a higher priority. Well, that might have slid down, and then he found other blocks of things that had more value, and
Right.
then how to shop better from there. Okay, well, since I don't care so much about looks, or I don't care so much about this or that thing, but these three things here are there, and I can build off of those. Hey,
Mhm.
that's value, and it doesn't take a long time to offer a job when
Is that something that men realize after a certain age? You have guys who don't really entertain a relationship, let alone marriage, until they're like in their 40s and 50s.
age is a factor, but usually it's financial status first. One, when do they feel capable? And two, are they feeling the urge and the purpose to do more, have more? Family. in particular. We are in, just like we just talked about a second ago, marriage being as big as a potential loss factor for a lot of men, they they get to like being very choosy. It's very intentional. So status just so happens to happen after age, which, just work experience, things like that. Then if he's feeling that purpose to create a family, well, he wants to do that in a marriage environment. It's very intentional. It doesn't take long from there.
So if a guy says he's not ready, what likely is he not ready for? Is it the responsibilities? Is it the pressure?
It's kind of it's the person. It's depending on if they have kids, one or the other. It's all of the responsibilities added together. Like I'll tell you what, me myself, I'm doing math all the time. On the situation is, I'm thinking about if we're at dinner. Old me anyway. It was
Uh-huh.
hard to enjoy all of the things that were going on because I'm thinking about the price, and that even means the next step of the relationship. How much does this relationship cost at the next step? Am I ready for that? So especially if he's a provider type of guy. He's thinking about how much these things cost him, energetically or otherwise.
So regardless of how much money the woman can make, the man more than likely is always going to have that in the back of his mind because he's looked at to be the provider.
If he accepts that role, then he's absolutely not counting her pockets. If she opts in, she can quite possibly circumvent a lot of that stress and even speed up their process if he feels like he can trust her with what she's offered.
Let's talk about trust. How do you know when a man trusts you as a woman?
I
What
mean,
what does it look like?
it's kind of easy, especially if there's a guy who, if you're in his presence for any amount of time, he probably already has a level of trust for you. Otherwise, he wouldn't be making certain decisions with you. So that's a pretty easy one. Obviously, there are some guys who they've been through some stuff and they can try to operate in a relationship, but it's going to take they got some boundaries. They might want to check some phones or something. I don't know. Obviously, that's within the confines of that relationship. If it works for them, then it works.
I'm wondering from a man's perspective, like what does a boundary look like to you?
I tell you one of mine personally, and I have had different people that disagreed, and shit, we might even not talk anymore after this. And it's so simple, right? It's supposed to be simple, but maybe it's not. I prefer a text before a phone call.
Mm,
That's just how I do business. That's how I do life. If I'm gonna call you, I'm gonna text you first and see if you're available. Are you free? Cool, let's talk. It's mutual. But that is when it
right.
was. There's people I ain't talked to this day because they didn't like that. And that's okay. That boundary was too much for them.
I was looking at one of your videos today and you were talking about the nightclub and not being afraid to shoot your shot. And in there, you had mentioned because it's loud, you don't want to sit there and try to have a whole conversation with her. You basically get in and get out. And you said something around the lines of exchanging or getting their Instagram. I personally feel like that is something this generation is doing now because I know I've had somebody ask me for my Instagram and I'm like, my Instagram? Like,
Yeah.
what? Why not
Yeah.
ask for the phone number? Like, what's the difference?
When I first started my channel, I almost specifically urged guys against that, asking for the Instagram. To me, it's better to start on the next step up. If you're gonna start, don't start on a friendly fan level, which is
Mhm.
social media,
Right.
especially if y'all had any kind of like real connection. I've been in situations where I met someone, I might have thought they were cool. But if I didn't think we got to a point where I would comfortably ask for their number, then I didn't make the connection. Or maybe I'll see them around. So
Yeah.
that's to say, in that video, I am speaking to a lot of younger guys sometimes,
Mhm.
and they may not have the boldness to ask for a number up front. I would still encourage them to try. Hey, man, whatever. If you miss, who cares? You shot, you got the conversation. That's a rep.
Right.
Repetitions matter.
That definitely matters because at the end of the day, actions speak louder than words. So if you are interested in someone, then putting it forth that effort to let it be known, calling. I prefer a call over, I'm not going to be a text buddy all day. I do definitely feel like there are some women who you ask for their Instagram and they're going to look at you crazy. And then you have some where you ask for their phone number, they're going to look at you crazy. So for a man, I'm sure that can be confusing, especially when nobody likes rejection. But you don't know how to really approach the woman and there not be a 50-50 chance. How do you work up the confidence to approach a woman? Like, are you just paying attention to the body language? How does that work?
So it's body language, it's potential eye contact. And honestly, as much as those things matter, I do encourage guys to get what they call choosing signals. Hey, man, has she pre-selected you at all? You know what I'm saying? Has she even looked your direction? That's important. Proximity is a thing. Has she gotten close to you? Like, were you over here and she was over there, and now somehow she's a little bit closer? Hey,
Mhm,
man, you could be wrong, but so what? Be wrong, go meet this person. That's all you're doing. You're not
mhm,
proposing to them on the spot. So beyond that, I think those are safe cues. And to what you said a second ago, I think depending on how this young lady is presenting herself, if she presents herself more like maturely, and you can tell, okay, this is a woman. Ask for a number because more than likely she just gonna look at you a little funny or think a little funny if you ask for, social media. You know what I'm saying?
right,
So
right.
that might be a difference there.
Now, what about approaching a woman who is with a group of friends? Do you still approach her or do you wait until she's by herself?
Man, that's a tough one, man, because that's advanced stuff right there. I actually have a video on that, and you have to be doing it for obviously damn near for sport because of the possibility of shit going wrong. But
Yeah, yeah.
so
Mhm.
you have to be okay with the outcomes. What I mean, you have to be okay with, all right, this could go left or this could be the best night of my life. I don't know. I've done it. I've done it. I've ran across the street to meet this lady who was with her friends. You know what I'm saying? It didn't go well. I was there for 2 seconds and then I was running back right back across the street. It didn't go well. But
Right.
it's the boldness, and this is what I encourage a lot of guys specifically. Like, man, if you're gonna be thinking about this tomorrow, later on tonight, wherever the case may be, thinking about how you didn't try, do it.
Mhm.
It's free. It doesn't hurt anything.
Yeah. It's definitely an experience, and experience is a lesson. One way or the other, regardless of the outcome, you're going to learn something. And I think it's more rewarding when you do try it and you get the outcome that you were looking for.
Oh yeah.
I stand behind you with just go, like push them out the nest, go learn to fly. This is the $1 million question. Where are the good men at?
Yeah, it worked. Yeah, I mean, that's the thing because honestly, they're probably everywhere. I would be giving guys a shot, but that doesn't mean every guy is getting the ultimate access. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So
Yeah.
your vetting process, and I think this is where women can really benefit from these types of conversations because the vetting process for women, especially if they're looking for something serious and they did not get caught up on his looks, his status, or something like that. She
Mhm,
can ask real questions and watch, wait, see. But
mhm.
the moment that she starts investing, a lot of times, man, guys, he's got her. Whether he's a good guy or not, he's got her. So that's where her vetting process comes in.
Because you have good guys and bad guys who will just stick around. Like a man, I feel will stay in a toxic relationship simply because he just doesn't want to start over. He already knows what he's getting. It's like, do I get out of this and then have to jump back out there and figure out somebody else who's completely unknown?
Mm.
Or do I stick with what I know I'm getting and just put up with it?
A lot of times that can be the case, especially if he's a faithful guy, a
Mhm.
guy who's been honoring their time together. Well, yeah, he's gonna stick around. God bless both of them. Hopefully, they can fix it somewhere in between. The vetting process for women is so important, and asking the right questions early and watch. Do not close your eyes. Actually, be paying attention to how he's moving, what things that he's doing, saying.
What are some of the right questions to ask?
The video that's done the best for me has been to ask him, is he close to being the man that he wants to be? And then asking him more questions about what does that look like?
Right.
That's the kind of thing that would indicate things that we talked about when it
Mm,
comes to the status, when it comes to his financial health, that'll tell you how close he is to being for and intentional. So
right.
just a question like that clusters things together and you kind of get a ballpark that's like where he is and if he's actually moving towards that goal.
That makes sense because a lot of times we're asking questions like, "What's your relationship like with your mother? What's your relationship like with the women in your family?" And yeah, that's important, but asking what his outlook is and how close is he to that does make sense because it goes back to the very beginning of the conversation where I said, if a guy is not where he wants to be in his career, just in life, period, he's not going to pour into a relationship. So to your point, if he is at that peak where it's like the things that he wanted to accomplish, he has accomplished or he's close to accomplishing it, then he's approaching that sweet spot. Ladies, Please take notes because God knows I'm taking notes. Now, going back to just the dating phase, because as I said, you can be dating someone for years and there's no outlook of marriage. At what point is someone supposed to ask, what are we doing here? Is there a timeline for men for these stages?
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's 2 years. I think it's at least not even around the 2 year mark. The first year, hopefully y'all have seen some things, y'all maybe seen each other in different seasons. And that doesn't mean things have to be tumultuous or anything, but it's good to see the other person having to deal with some type of adversity. And
Mhm,
hope nothing, terrible, but you need real situations to be able to analyze that. I think about 2 years a conversation needs to be had because someone is stuck and either they're not talking about it or they've talked about it and it's the work's not being done.
Now, what if the relationship is long distance?
It's perfect. So the relationship being long distance, they need to be moving towards one another. Their goals need to be physically moving towards one another. Somebody's gonna have to change locations, if not both of them. So
Right.
that has to be a part of the timeline. And things not being on track, in my opinion, it's just gonna sound like not nice. That's a red flag to me. And I would be ready to kind of cut ties because okay, we have this goal for one another. We're trying to
Mhm,
be together. And if, the other person kind of can't lock in or we can't meet each other, imagine this is a team effort. So
mhm,
if one person got to carry a little bit more than the other, okay, but that can't be the trend. We have to have a
mhm.
trend of upward mobility, being able to
Right.
carry forward together, not one person having to carry the other. 2 years may be a bit short for them, but
Mhm.
I wouldn't give them much more.
Now, at this point, you're just content with what you got going on. Are there any things that women can do or take accountability for that could help get the man closer to where he wants to be relationship wise?
The very first thing's going to be listening
Hmm.
and not even just like what he's saying. Tell you what, my best relationships and how I even entered them at all. Because I'm be real with you, I wasn't an easy catch. I'm saying it wasn't happening easy. But the things that made me go into these relationships is they have wifely qualities. I've always, I watched my folks and how my
Hmm.
mom assisted my dad, or really my grandma and granddad, and it's that kind of like symbiotic relationship. Is like, okay, we do well together. She is a part of my life in a way that it don't make sense for me not to have her. And that's where the listening and paying attention, seeing where you can fit into his life and be effective.
Right.
One of my good friends, she was telling me about an older guy that he does really well for himself. He took interest in her and she was like, I don't know what to do or what to be for him. I'm like, just pay attention to where the cracks are. That's all you got to do. He got everything else covered. He ain't asking you for nothing. All you got to do is pay attention to the foundation. Where can he see and help? What is he not seeing? And where could he use some assistance that he don't even know?
So basically, be the glue to hold everything together and stay out the way in a way, but find the balance. Now, a woman can do that, but what are some things that a woman can do that can ultimately push the man away, regardless of how good of a woman she is?
Man, at the very like, let's say no one's perfect, but let's say she's excellent. It's hard to find any faults in her. Pushing him away might be the fact that he can't fulfill that same. He couldn't earn that same grade. He can't be what she is like
Mm,
to her. And obviously, in my opinion, that's nobody's fault. He should probably get go seek like therapy, have a conversation about that because
right.
that's not why she's there.
Yeah. Yeah.
But if she's a good woman, she's still managing to push him away, then to be honest, she's probably not as good as she thinks because there may be some overstepping,
Mhm.
maybe disrespecting that's going on. And whether he's the quiet type or he's done talking about it, the results are probably going to be the same. He's going to exit that relationship whenever it makes sense.
Let's say man meets woman first 10 days. Are there any early signs that she can look for? Can tell he's serious about getting to know her?
Yeah, yeah, definitely. We all have different like communication patterns and
Mhm.
our communication styles. but I would definitely be paying attention to in the early stages. That's all we're doing. We're building patterns together. We're getting to know how the other person flows and goes. It should be assuming that they're in proximity. They should be making plans. They should be
Mhm.
making plans, whether these are quick little somethings on a lunch break or something in the evening, whatever the case may be, going to the gym. But how much he wants to see her is important, is really important. And the guy that isn't, that's about a 2 weeks. That's two business weeks anyway. He should be
Yeah.
trying to see her, you know what I'm saying, at least a couple times a week. Because honestly, tell you what, a lot of guys who are playing games are going
Mhm.
to aim for one time a week,
Mm.
aiming for one time a week because they got a rotation. So they got to make shit fit the right way. And if you miss your day, baby, I don't know what to tell you. Like,
Got you miss your day.
yeah, exactly.
An appointment.
That's damn near what it is. So a guy who is trying to be serious, you know what I'm saying, and not playing games, he's looking to see her multiple times a week. And I would say three is excessive. I think two is pretty good.
Wow, that is funny. Guys in these rotations, I guess they're just as equal as women in their rotations. Everybody got a roster. How do you get out of the friend zone? How do you then show the person, I want more than just a friendship?
As a woman or a man.
Both. Both.
Okay. So as a man, you get out of the friendship by you gotta opt out. Honestly, if you really find yourself, if you find yourself in the friend zone or anything that resembles a friend zone, blow it up. Blow it up
Hmm.
because you have to make your intentions known. That was the first problem. She didn't know what you wanted. So you
Yeah.
found yourself over there. Or, maybe she did see you liked her, but she still fits you in this box that you didn't want to be in. Blow it up. For women, it's a bit more tricky. It's a bit more tricky because instead of the friend zone, it becomes, the I guess, free sex zone, if you will. And as
Hmm.
you said, a lot of guys will stick around, kind of just for that, if she'll allow it. And there, once again, intentions. You got to make those intentions plain, and you got to be ready to stick to your guns. Also, assess what you have been bringing to that environment, to that potential relationship, because he's doing the math on it. He's doing the math
Hmm.
on our time. How much easier does she make my day? How much
Hmm.
easier does obviously the sex is good enough for her to be around, but so that's access, cool. But if it ain't going right and you're not thinking, okay, damn, I do this for real, I do that, I keep up with this thing for him, then you honestly, what more value would he be finding there?
Gotcha. And I get the vibe of what can you bring to the table? Can you be my peace? Can you take things off the plate? Okay. Now, does sex on the first date truly matter?
Different times, different ways this can happen. Depends on the guy and how it happens. If we've been, chit chatting and we've been having conversations, we've been talking about real stuff. Okay, sex on the first date, whenever the first date happens, maybe that makes sense. Maybe that's somehow that makes sense and this feels natural. If this is like just a spark, we really ain't talking. This has all been text messages and it don't matter what kind of date it was. If it ended with sex and now I have no other knowledge of this person than the sex and whatever, small conversations we've had, well, what other value can I really say I know before? What other value does she know about me?
Right.
It's not like we're going to be trading family secrets or nothing, but do you know my last name? Do you know what I'm saying? Anything. Doesn't have to be a deal breaker, but
Gotcha.
help, to be honest.
We will definitely kick a part two and we'll go live. So you guys make sure you keep your eyes open. Follow Cougar Jackson. You can go ahead and give them your social media handles in case it's different in other areas.
It's all the same. Underscore, that's Jackson on Instagram, TikTok, and all the places and spaces.
And then mine's is I am simply Bree. So thank you guys so much for watching. Jackson, thank you so much for your advice and just peeling open that can and letting us know what's going on in the minds of guys. Until next time, you guys, we'll catch you later.